Berserk influences on Dark Souls.
Miyazaki confirmed in one of his interviews that Siegmeyer's design is inspired by Bazuso. However, the similarity is only in the armor, as the two have very different personalities.
Yeah, Bazuso was an asshole, right?
is one of the early characters hostile to Guts, which is very different from the jovial and helpful Siegmeyer. Siegmeyer proved to be a popular character, so he reappeared in a later game in the series as Siegward. He still retains the same armor.
He's got a pretty big role, like, I mean, like, because he was, like, friends with Yorm the Giant, and Yorm gave him the sword to kill him if it was ever time.
And jovial personality. The Berserk volume source is
actually
volume
really
4,
good,
and the chapter name is The Golden Age. Rosine is one of the apostles whom Guts fought and defeated. In her apostle form, she takes the shape of a giant moth. In Dark Souls, the player will
You'll recognize this boss from Imaru's playthrough whenever it took her over 20 attempts to kill it.
Encounter a boss named Moonlight Butterfly, which is a giant butterfly. I believe that
remember,
Miyazaki added the Moonlight Butterfly
attack,
boss fight as a deliberate homage to Rosine. He could have chosen an entirely different boss monster instead. The Berserk volume source is volume 16, and the chapter name is Sky Demon. Snakelord is one of the early apostles that Guts fought after gaining his reputation as the Black Swordsman.
Oh, bro, that is 100% the Sin's Fortress, guys. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, like, come on.
He bears a striking resemblance to the humanoid serpent monsters found in Dark Souls.
I didn't know it was that
close. These man-serpent enemies make a comeback in Dark Souls 3, featuring an upgraded
They're in
moveset
Elden Ring,
and attacks.
too.
The Berserk volume source is volume 1, and the chapter name is The Black Swordsman. Nosferatu Zod is undeniably one of the most popular and significant monsters in Berserk. He plays a prominent role in nearly all crucial moments of the story.
Pretty much.
It comes as no surprise that Miyazaki would pay homage to Zod by making him the first real boss that the player encounters in the game.
Which is kind of what makes sense, right? Because isn't Zod the first apostle that Guts encounters as well? I think he is.
However, it would have been even better if there were an upgraded version of the Taurus demon for the hero to face later in their adventure.
Yeah, it's
in the manga,
Zod... Well, there was, like, you face the stronger Taurus demon whenever you're on your way to fight the demon Fire Sage in Lost Izalith, but, like, at that point you're, like, so strong it doesn't really matter.
Possesses 3 forms: humanoid, beast, and winged beast. Given his enduring popularity, there is a possibility that we might see Zod make appearances in future FromSoft games. The Berserk volume source is volume 5, and the chapter name is Nosferatu Zod. This is another compelling example of Miyazaki's homage, rather than simply copying Berserk.
Sword.
The resemblance between the red-eye orb and the crimson behelit is unmistakable. Miyazaki could have altered the design to preempt any criticisms, avoid unnecessary comments, or prevent accusations of plagiarism.
That's a one-to-one. Or not one-to-one.
However, he seems unbothered by such concerns, and instead aims to pay tribute to something significant within the Berserk universe.
I think that, like, it feels like... Because... Look at Kojima. Kojima, major fan and enjoyer of American cinema, makes a character with long hair and eye patch whose name is Snake, and he does, like, work for the government. And it's like, yeah, like, they just, Escape from New York. There's no way. Like, I swear to God, like, there is no way that Kojima watched Escape from New York, and he watched Serial Experiments Lane. There is no fucking way that Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't a direct outcome of that. Come on. Of course. And that's not a bad thing. He confirmed it. Yes, of course, it's great.
The Red-Eye Orb holds relevance in the Dark Souls universe and appears in all 3 games of the series. The Berserk volume source is volume 3, and the chapter name is Guardians of Desire. Similar to Zod, the Skull Knight holds immense importance as one of the key non-human characters in Berserk. He may possess knowledge about the secrets of the Berserk universe, making him a central figure. Thus, it is not surprising that Miyazaki incorporated a group of monsters based on the design of the Skull Knight's armor. These monsters also make an appearance in Dark Souls 3, although they do not play as significant a role in the game's lore as the Skull Knight does in Berserk.
Yeah, they're kind of like whatever.
The Berserk volume source is volume 9, and the chapter name is Skull Knight. Rickert is a young member of the Band of the Hawk, who later became a blacksmith under the training of Godo. He is one of the few members who survived the eclipse. In Dark Souls, there is an NPC whose name is Rickert, and interestingly
is this the one down at the bottom? In the water area? I didn't even know this. Rickert of VINHEIM. I had no idea.
Also a blacksmith. However, the biggest proof that this character is inspired by Rickert of Berserk is the cell where he is locked up. In Berserk, Rickert helps in taking care of Casca by locking her up in a small room of a cave. This cave gives magical protection to Casca against monsters who attack the branded. From their perspective, being locked in the room is safer than going outside. This same view is shared by the blacksmith Rickert in Dark Souls, as he feels safer in his own cell than being outside. The Berserk volume source is volume 14, and the chapter name is Armament. In the manga, there is a location where Guts was attacked by monster baby.
Remember I told everybody that that area in Nito was built underneath a Planned Parenthood? I remember people got so mad about that.
Surrounded by flame. If a baby touches a person, the target will burst into fire. Guts spent a night fighting these small enemies. In the game, while exploring the path towards Nito, you will face the skeleton babies. These small enemies have a very similar attack to the fire babies. They can also cause toxic buildup on the player if touched, similar to the burning effect of the babies in Berserk. The Berserk volume source is volume 15, and the chapter name is Red-Eyed Peacaf. Ornstein and SMOUGH are the most famous boss enemies in Dark Souls, so it's truly amazing to discover their origins in Berserk. While Guts was on his way to fight the Apostle Rosine, he was blocked from progressing by two strong enemies. Their names were not provided, so we will just refer to them.
I mean, this might be a bit of a stretch. This might be a bit of a stretch, but okay.
Them as Mantis and Beetle. This is what Guts said about them. Not good, I can't fight them both at once. One has thick armor, and the other has speed. Isn't that what every player says when facing Ornstein and SMOUGH for the first time?
I don't think
Ornstein represents speed and can cover long distances in one stride. On the other hand, SMOUGH is slow and lumbering, but compensates for it by dealing high damage and having thick armor.
I feel like that's a pretty common trope in games, and it had been at that point for years.
The source of the Berserk volume is volume 15, and the chapter is titled Lost Children. The wheel skeleton is one of the most widely recognized references to Berserk in Dark Souls.
Yeah, this is like a one-to-one.
These skeletons wear a large wooden spiked wheel.
And these things are also in Path of Exile too. They're on the Pinnacle map.
Enabling them to roll towards you at high speed and inflict a significant amount of damage if you happen to be in their path. The first encounter with these enemies occurs at the bottom of the catacombs, just before the entrance to Pinwheel's lair. In Berserk, the wheel skeletons first appeared when they chased Isidro and Guts. This reference is not only amusing, but also undeniably clear.
Yeah, it's obvious.
The source of the Berserk volume is volume 17, and the chapter is titled To Holy Ground. Pinwheel has a rich lore in Dark Souls, as he possesses 3 masks that grant him special powers. In the design works, it is also mentioned that he is composed of 3 individuals fused together. In Berserk, when Luca accidentally discovered the den of the Egg Apostle, she witnessed a deific image depicted in a screenshot.
Oh, what the fuck?
This deific image is formed by the skin and bones of priests fused together, resembling the fusion seen in Pinwheel.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Both locations share a similarity in being adorned with numerous candles.
Wow.
From these observations, it can be concluded that Miyazaki...
Bro, I had no idea about this one. This is like, yeah, I did not hear about this ever.
...adopted the concept of the deific image and its location, incorporating it into the creation of Pinwheel. The source of the Berserk volume is volume 20, and the chapter is titled One Unknown in the Depth of Depths. Miyazaki has publicly confirmed that many armors and sets in Dark Souls draw inspiration from other media.
Yeah, sure.
For instance, the Warrior class set is inspired by Parn from Record of Lodoss War, and the Thorn armor set takes inspiration from both Saint Seiya and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I hope they show the, I mean, I think the best example is the Prisoner, right? I mean, even down to the name. In Elden Ring, like the starter class, like that's the most one-to-one there is.
Ferris set bears a striking resemblance to the attire worn by the Apostle Irvine.
In the story.
However, the most telling clue lies in the
forest,
pose adopted when using the Ferris bow for attacking. The source of the Berserk volume is volume 23, and the chapter is titled War Demons. The giant cats of Darkroot Garden, also known as great felines, can be found near the gate that leads to the Great Grey Wolf Sith.
I didn't even encounter
Initially,
them.
only one cat jumps out at you, but there are 3 cats in total within this area,
because they jump
and they
down.
do not respawn after being defeated. These creatures bear a striking resemblance to the monster cats in Berserk.
I don't know if this one is like really like, I don't know if this one's really intentional. I think that it's like kind of broad, but maybe.
In terms of their size and appearance. Furthermore, they share similar characteristics, being highly aggressive and capable of swift movements and attacks. The source of the Berserk volume is volume 30, and the chapter is titled
I think those are just
Duel.
tigers, really.
Godot plays a significant role in Berserk as the maker of the Dragon Slayer sword, which serves as Guts' iconic weapon. In contrast, Andre is the primary blacksmith who aids the hero during the early stages of his adventure. These 2 blacksmiths also share visual similarities, although it should be noted that Godot is depicted as having passed his prime when he encounters Guts. The source of the Berserk volume is volume 10, and the chapter is titled Sparks from a Sword Tip. Miyazaki pays the highest homage to Berserk in Dark Souls by designing the main humanoid boss of the Soul expansion to resemble Guts. This homage extends beyond just visual similarities. It also holds contextual significance. Artorias, like Guts, becomes consumed by darkness and succumbs to it as he continues to battle against it. Similarly, Guts becomes consumed by the power of the Berserker armor as he relies on it to defeat monsters. For those familiar with both the manga and the game, it becomes evident that their attack styles also bear resemblance. One can imagine Miyazaki instructing his designers, pointing to the manga and saying,
"Oh, I never saw this one before. Look at that. I didn't know he literally did the spin attack like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought it was just in like a relative design. Oh, shit."
Saying, Artorias' repeated jumping attacks should be like this. The most intriguing aspect is that this homage is a complete cover-to-cover tribute. The pose of Artorias displayed on the game cover is a replica of the cover of Berserk Volume 28.
They did the same thing with Blade in Elden Ring, too.
Once again, as previously mentioned, Miyazaki was not obligated to incorporate such an homage. The essence and value of the game do not hinge solely on this reference. However, for those fortunate enough to recognize the homage, there is a sense of joy in discovering this hidden beauty. In total, we have identified 15 influences from Berserk on Dark Souls.
Yeah, people also said that Griffith looks a lot like Gwendolyn.
14 of which are considered to be beyond doubt, and 1 similar. If you would like to explore how Dark Souls compares to other Souls games in terms of these influences, you can find the links in the description below.
There it is. That's cool. Yeah, I just wanted to watch that because I just was interested in it, honestly. I just thought it was cool.
Miyazaki
yeah, I mean, this was so cool. I love this. I'll link you guys the video. I hope he does more of these. They're great.